until it goes green.
Check.
Checky, check.
Hello?
Check, baby, one.
I think so.
Welcome to WZAA 106.9, campusnation.com. This is Chad McAllister and Chris Weiskup here. First of all, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Musselman Motors and Cars, where everyone knows your name. You can contact Chris Musselman or Ken Ferris at 937-366-6493. Also, Accurate Machine and Weld Company for all steel and aluminum sales. Contact John Mashevsky at 937-584-4518. Also, the 8th annual Brett Whiteman Memorial 5K Run and Walk. Come join the race on November 10th, 2018. It starts at the Sabina Elementary School. Registration begins at 7:30 a.m. Race starts at 8:30 a.m. Entry fee is $30 for pre-registers. Includes shirt and breakfast. Come out and support the one and only and our Marine and your brother, Brett Whiteman. Also, Chaz's DJ service and event planning can bring music to the entire region. Chaz does car shows, reunions, birthday parties, and other events. Contact Charlie at 937-218-2290. For our first set here, we have Coach Scott Killen, Wilmington High School. Also with Coach Andrews here, offensive line. Good having you, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, going back last week, you guys suffered a little loss there. Let's let everybody walk through it.
Well, it's, kind of the same story that's been happening. And, we have 4 losses on the year. In 3 of those 4 losses, we've given up, 35 points the second half of each of those losses, and that's just unacceptable. So it's just kind of like going back to the drawing board and just, trying to figure out what are we doing, what's wrong, what can we – what do we need to improve on, and, did we miss anything? And it just comes down to execution and being consistent with our execution.
Coach Andrews, you've been here. You was at Greenfield before this. Let everybody know your name. You're offensive line coach now here. You was with 8 years. You was at Wilmington.
Yes, sir.
Back when Coach Vida was here.
Yep.
What's the difference here in Wilmington since you've been here at Wilmington with Coach Scott Killen here?
Yesterday and today in our pre-practice meeting was just finish, get off the field. Yeah. Our offense, I think our offense can score at any point. We need to be more consistent there as well. But defensively, it's knowing the situation. We gave up basically a pop pass. It was 3rd and 17, 3rd and 18. They called timeout. I come back and I told the kids, I'm like, hey, don't get beat deep. Okay, they're going to have to throw. If they run it, we can come up and make a tackle. And, young sophomore, first game starting, came screaming up on the run, touchdown. And it's hopefully you can take that and you can build from it and you can learn from it and just keep getting better. And, that's all I can ask is just we have to learn from our mistakes and keep being more consistent and working towards that. One thing we talked about was, and I'm going to get on my little cliche thing, but we talked about
the cliche.
Yeah, the R factor, okay? The response to situations. You have a discipline response, you have a default response. We need to be more consistent at the decision response and doing everything your coach do, train to do, and you do in practice. So when the bullets start flying, our impulse doesn't take over and we just do whatever we think we need to do instead of doing what we're supposed to do, and that's the default method. So, we're just gonna keep chopping wood and going back and just focus on the little things, and hopefully we're more consistent this week.
What about who's the guy on defense? That one guy. You have to have that guy. On every football team, you have that guy. On defense side of the football, somebody's going to step up, take that leadership role, and step up and be that guy.
I think Coach Andrews can probably help say the same thing, and we're still looking for that guy. And it's and the funny thing is I talk to a bunch of coaches every week, and we're all kind of in the same boat. Like some programs that are established, they have that guy or they have a bunch of guys. In my buddies that are in a program, they're trying to build. You know, they're still looking for that. They're in the same boat. They're still looking for that guy. And I don't know if it's a generation thing. Like they don't want to get in anybody's face. They don't want to be mean. They don't want to be talked about on Snapchat or Twitter or whatever they're going to do. You know, we have great kids, but they're very hesitant to be that guy. And I think that's what we're trying to develop. We're trying to search. We're trying to figure out who that guy is. And it's not just on defense. It's on our team, you know.
Exactly.
When we have great seniors. You know, don't get me wrong, but like Mason McIntosh has been on here and he you know, and we've talked with him and he's just very honest. He's like, Coach, they just feel they don't want to step on anybody's toes and be that guy that, you know.
The B word.
Yeah,
you
know.
want to be the B word. You know, you got to. You
so
got to have that.
So that's kind of something we're trying to develop as a staff and as a program.
We're a lot better with him than without him.
Now looking at this week, you know, moving forward here, you guys got Batavia this week. They're 5-2. Give us a little rundown about Batavia. How do you feel about this matchup, being 3-4, coming in, playing them? They're on the smaller side of the SBAC, but also they're 5-2. But have they played anybody?
Well, once again, I'm going to tell you what I sit here and tell you every week. You know, it's not about them; it's about us.
Yeah.
I really feel when we get clicking and we can do everything we're supposed to do, you know, we can compete with just about anybody on our schedule. Right now, we are our biggest opponent. We're our own worst enemy. And we just got to get guys we have to build that trust in each other. We got to build the trust in the system and the process, and we just got to go. Now, with that being said, Batavia is another run-heavy team. They run the wing tee. And they're going to run the power. They're going to run the toss. They're going to come back with the counter and the O-trap. And, you know, defensively, I think they give us some things we can exploit. I think we can, you know, I look for have another big week passing the ball, and hopefully get a big week. Get a big week running the ball and get that back on track.
I was about to say, hopefully we can get to running the ball a little bit to help our quarterback out. So.
Yeah.
Now, one question it was going through my mind all day at work today, and I wanted to know something. How long, and you've been coaching for a while now here in Clinton County, when's the last time that you've been 3-4 starting now? Here the first 7 games. I don't think it's ever. I mean,
for me, this is the first.
Yes.
But I talked to my high school football coach last night, and you know, since my dad passed away, he's kind of been like my dad. He called me and he's like, "How long you been coaching?" I told him, "Well, coach, 19 years," and he was like, "Well," he goes, "You do this long enough, you're gonna have one of these seasons," and he goes, "It puts a lot of things in perspective. It humbles you." And because it shows that there's some things that you're not doing right and you're not communicating with the kids, and you got to go back to the drawing board and make sure they understand exactly what they do. And if they don't understand, if they're messing up in the game, he goes, that's on you.
Yeah.
He goes, so you have to go back to do what you do. And I think today, you know, we had a good defensive session and, you know, just trying to get everybody playing through their gaps, reading their keys, and just, you know, just slowly just getting everybody to fit into the system. And, you know, and that was, so to answer your question, you know, 3-4, it's a new experience, but it's experience that I'm not necessarily embracing it, but I'm learning from it. As Austin P. in, what was that, right around Clarksville, Tennessee?
Clarksville's a fun town, too. It'll be a good time.
Did you go there last year then and check it out, or how many years have you been there?
I went there last spring. I spent 3 years in the Nashville area. I actually lived right in between Clarksville and Nashville, right off I-24. So I'm familiar with the area, and it was just a little weekend to get away. I just went down there and used it as a little vacation and learned some football and got to go visit some people. It was a good time.
Which, rating on clinics, I mean, how many clinics do you attend a year? I mean, do you try to attend a certain amount, like 2, 3, 4, maybe?
It depends on the year. I always go to the state clinic. Coach Killen doesn't love the state clinic as much. I typically try to go to a spring practice at a college somewhere. And
I don't like it. I don't like the state clinic because there's people there that annoy me.
Well,
I'll just leave that out there.
I'm more of a people person than you, Coach. And
It's true. Everybody loves Coach Andrews.
So I usually go to at least 2 a year, maybe another one in there.
So, Coach, going back to Batavia,
Okay.
what's their strong points here this week? And like you said, they run a little bit, trap things. What's their strong points, and what have you done differently, and what are you going to do differently on the defense side of football?
You know,
Your plans. We talked about it yesterday.
Here's my plan. I'm not doing anything drastic. We're just going to get better doing what we do. I think that we need to be more consistent. We have to be more aggressive, and we just have to trust. And if I can get kids not thinking and just playing, I think we'll be okay because we're pretty freaking athletic. You know, the issue is, like he said, we have babies. You know, and then some players don't like to hear that, but you know, it is what it is. When you look at Goshen had 21 seniors. Okay, all 21 of those seniors played. New Richmond had 17 seniors. Every single one of those seniors played. Okay, it turns into a pattern when you have 17, 18-year-old kids going or young men going against
15-year-old kids.
14, 15-year-old kids. Like Elijah Rockhold, I believe, just turned 15. You know, so he's a baby. You know, and then you look at just. And people don't understand the 2 years in the weight room, what that does for the physicality and the youth. So that's kind of where we're at, and there is light at the end of the tunnel, but it's just.
What's up, buddy? What's going on? Chris. What's your name? Chris. Chris. Nice to meet you, man. Michael. So he was out last year.
Yeah. No, he was. What's up, man? Coach Foreign. Nice to meet you.
I missed last year. You missed last year. Yeah, I got you. That's all right. That's I'll figure it out.
We don't have. You all right? You good? How are you, ma'am?
Welcome back to WZA 106.9 here. Also, would like to thank our sponsors here, Chaz's DJ Service and Event Planning can bring music to the entire reunion. Chaz does car shows, reunions, birthdays, and other events. Contact Charlie at 937-218-2290. Second part of our segment here tonight, we have Coach Brian Moore. Alongside of him is Coach Adam Foreign and also sophomore offensive lineman Chris Jersky. and junior defensive lineman Michael Vargo. Good having you, Coach.
Oh, man, appreciate being here. Hey, next time I come on here, I want to do one of those I want to read one of the sponsor ads.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, that's pretty
You
sweet.
can read them any day.
I can't read that chicken scratch you got in front of you. You're going to have to type it up for me.
You got to give me a hug, man.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Coach, going back and not looking back at last week, but we was talking, and last year started every game but one. But what's some of the things from last year to this year that you've gained over the time?
Well, first, strength. Getting in the weight room during the springtime just helped me with obviously strength and then the footwork as well. Getting faster off the ball. And last year it really didn't feel the same as this year. This year, I know I told my roommate, running back, Aaron Johnston. I told him it's a different feel this year. It was we were clicking in camp a lot easier, a lot faster, and everything was precise, and we just clicked as a unit.
And, being, younger, and, you're a junior this year, so looking at it, and you're a sophomore, some of the things is growth and building camaraderie amongst each other. You got to get everybody believing in each other. And Coach Moore, he's taking on the helm here and has done a great job. What's some of the things differently from high school, even high school, that you've noticed about the speed of the game, the things that's different having Coach Moore alongside here?
I know coming in last year that we played Otterbein. Otterbein had a stellar D-line last year, and I know they said be prepared college a lot faster than high school, and I couldn't really put my head around that. And then I got in the first play, and dude actually went right past me. I didn't put up a fight. And then I finally got it. It finally clicked after week 2, and it was on from there. And now I've become faster. I can get there. I can get there quicker, and it's a lot. I wouldn't say easier, but I know how to prepare more now.
Michael, go to you, bud. You was out last year, with an injury. This year, coming back, fighting back, getting your spot back, being that guy. What does it mean? You was recruited by the older staff. I mean, coming back in and Coach Moore taking over, doing things. What is the difference there in the old staff and what you feel the Quakers offer now?
I mean, obviously, 2 years ago, we were just a bunch of individuals who loosely had a coaching staff. Coach Moore comes in and he really just decides, this has to be a team sport. You guys can't all just play by yourselves. And I've seen that over the 2 years, progressively, just everyone getting closer, and the people who don't want to do that just fall off the edge.
What do you feel, Marietta, and coming in this week, and each and every week, and being down, getting kicked in the butt, you got to fight back. What do you guys do on the offensive line? You're a junior, upperclassman. What do you do to fight back and say, listen, guys, I'm tired of this. It's time to change. We're making changes. We're going to progress. What do you do as a junior to tell your guys? I mean, you're an upperclassman now.
I mean, just with the defensive line, I mean, there's only 2 of us who have ever played on a Saturday coming into this season, so it's just kind of like you got
extremely well. Our players prepared. We had our best week of practice in the most adverse situations possible. And we got on that field, and there was no fear out there. And I told those guys yesterday in our team meeting, today after a 63-7 loss, it's a whole heck of a lot different than Mount Union's meeting right now. Because Mount Union has questions right now. That was a team that was arguing on the field. That was a team that was a little bit disheveled, that was expecting to walk right through us in that first half. And we put up about as good of a fight as we could, and we came off that field a tighter, closer team that answered a lot of questions about ourselves. And I think in that, it forced Mount Union to ask some questions about themselves. I don't think that they were prepared to have on Saturday.
Coach, we were talking previous to the high school with Killen there. They had talking about the young guys they have on their team there. They have a lot of similar to you guys with sophomores across the line of scrimmage, D-line. Are you seeing the development as the season progresses?
Yeah, we are. Not just ability-wise, but I think just the maturation. Is that the word? Maturation?
Sounds good enough.
They're maturing. But those guys are really growing up, and even the upper class, and just learning more about those guys and how to lead those guys. And and how to bring them along and how to get them to practice. I think the whole team kind of, especially on Saturday, I thought the whole team grew up right in front of everybody's eyes of how to handle adversity, how to bounce back from a bad emotional performance, and put together something to be proud of, and really on a national stage and a national audience show these guys that, hey, this is a team that's not just up and coming. This team's coming, and it's coming right now.
Coach Adam Forn, I want to ask you a little bit here. What's your take on this whole intel? How long have you been affiliated with Coach Brian Moore? Is this your second year with him here?
So this is my first year.
First year, okay.
Yeah.
I
got here in the spring. I got here in March, and prior to that, I didn't know Coach Moore at all. And I going through the interview process. What really drew me to the program was he was straight up in terms of different questions I asked. He didn't try to sugarcoat certain things in terms of talking about the youth and some things along those lines, but really him being up front, along with having people on the staff who wanted to join him, like Coach Philly, Coach Byrne, Coach Thomas, people like that. Being in this profession, you see if you have people following you on a coaching staff, that says a lot about the coach and the man himself. So those were areas that really kind of drew me to the program, and being a part of the program, and from an outsider's perspective, really buying in wholeheartedly, and seeing not just the coaches but the players truly buying in has been a cool experience for, again, somebody not from here, not associated with Coach Moore previously, seeing those areas and those areas of growth that we're slowly getting to.
Now, where'd you come from? And let everyone know, that way people know exactly where
Absolutely.
you come from.
So
They care about them, and I think you could tell that in his interview, that this was a guy that had a lot of professionalism to him and wanted that opportunity to have his own room of quarterbacks, and he's embraced it, and he's been a steal.
What's the difference here with Kyle? Kyle had a great week, and going to 16 for 24, he's a solid stud. Losing Luke Credit last year, that was tough, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had a great year
Yeah,
last
he did.
year. Done a great job as a senior. What do you feel coming up in the next, few weeks, and also in the future that Kyle's going to offer you? Because, 16 for 24 against Mount Union, that's pretty darn good.
It's really good.
That's killer.
Really good. I think as he comes along, he's starting to understand defenses. Again, he's seeing OAC defenses for the first time, and they're not easy to grasp with all the hidden coverages and people moving around and protections you got to worry about. And then on top of it, we throw 3 freshman wide receivers in a lineup that he's never met before. So there's some stuff he's going through. And when a kid can set his feet and he's confident in what he's doing and what's in front of him, he's really, really accurate. It's when he feels some false pressure or he doesn't set his feet and his feet aren't right behind him that he'll sail the ball a little bit. But I think every young quarterback, whether it's a rookie in the NFL or at Ohio State or anywhere, those same things, just like all these guys had to do coming in too. You have to fail at it first to learn from it. It'd be great if we could just read it in a book and do it. Unfortunately, the game of football doesn't work that way. You got to go out there. You got to screw it up. You got to learn from it. And he has a great, I'm going to throw another big word out here, a great propensity. I don't know if that's a word either.
That's a killer word.
Yeah.
I don't even know what
Spell
it means.
Spell it.
I don't.
Yeah,
propensity.
So, but he's got that great knack and ability to learn, to quickly rebound from failure, to learn from failure and make quick corrections, whether it's in the game or the following week. And you can see his body language. He's never discouraged. He has a great belief in himself, and that carries through, I think, to everybody else on the team as well.
Michael, real quick, I wanted to ask, and in case your parents are watching out here, and all your fans, what are you studying in school?
I'm an accounting and marketing major.
What was the choice in that?
The paycheck.
Money. So you're all about the Benjamins.
I'm a pretty expensive person to take care of, so I kind of had to pick a job that's going to take care of me.
Chris, what's your major?
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice. So you're going to be a cop.
Yep. That's what I plan to be.
All right, nice, man. Coach, going back real quick, this week, and I wanted Marietta this week. What do you expect out of the Quakers? And getting ready to get off here, I want low down on it.
Yeah, well, I think you're going to see a team that found itself, and that's going to be our challenge this week. Do do we eat the cheese? Do we feel good about, hey, 1 week we did what we were supposed to do and shut it down, or do we keep rallying up, not fall into that trap of, hey, once was good enough, that's all we had? We're going on the road again. Another homecoming game at Marietta. Marietta's 5-0 for the first time, I think, since Jesus.
DJ service and event. Planning can bring music to the entire reunion. Jazz does car shows, reunions, birthdays, parties, and other events. Contact Charlie at 937-218-2290. Last but not least, S&S Insurance is located in Sabina, Ohio. They offer life insurance for all, especially young people. S&S can also assist you with Medicare gap coverage. Contact the one and only Charles Hargrave at 937-218-2290. Next up, we have East Clinton. Joining Coach Jeremy Yankee will be Todd Wedding here. So welcome back here, 106.9 WZAA. Chad McAllister and Chris Weiskup here, live at Fiesta, Varacruz. Coach Yankee, guys, coming off close, tight game last week against Fayetteville. Give us a little rundown over there.
Well, it wasn't close at halftime. We were down 22-0 in the first half. So we had our first 4 possessions. We turned the ball over, and it's hard to win when you turn the ball over 4 times. So if there are 3 touchdowns, we pretty much put them in good field position on all of them. And second half, we come out and played really well. We scored 2 touchdowns and had a few other chances to score to try to tie that game up, but just wasn't able to do it. So we come up short 22-14. But second half, we really owned it and played real well defensively and offensively.
Yeah, and just it sounded like it was a matter you guys ran out of time in this one. It looked like you pretty much owned the second half. I know previously you've not been very happy with the maximum effort. Do you feel like your guys really laid it all out this week for this game?
Yeah, we told them Saturday morning to meeting that it was definitely the best half of football that we'd played all year. And, for a team that was 0-6 and to be down 22-0 at half, to come out and actually play with that type of excitement, momentum, and make good things happen, that's pretty tough to do. We just wish we'd have cleaned it up and played better in the first half. But second half definitely gave us reason for some excitement. And, we played Bethel Tate this week, who's another struggling team. They're 1-6, so it's down there at their place. So, hopefully we get a good plan together this week and practice it and go down and execute it on Friday.
Now, how many – I think Bethel Tate lost probably 17, 18 seniors. They had a lot of senior – they was undefeated last year when you guys played them. They're at home, didn't you? Undefeated.
They're smart kids, 4.0. And he did the best he could. And he actually got hurt in the Williamsburg game. His hand was hurt. And, we come out Friday, and he was having trouble holding the ball and getting the snap. So we turned it over. Our very first play was a fumbled snap. Then they take over at, our 25. He threw a couple interceptions. And we decided late in the second quarter to go to Jared Smith, who's a freshman. And Jared finished the game out 9 out of 13, threw 2 touchdowns in the second half, and played real well. So Jared will be starting this week.
So you're going to go with the freshman then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Todd, going with Todd Wedding here, running back here at East Clinton, junior this year. How do you feel, your leadership role? You guys got 6 freshmen playing a lot of ball. Your leadership, where are you at on the chart? Are you very vocal? How's your vocal ability there?
Well, obviously I can get pretty loud. I'm kind of a loud person, but I try to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to, and I try to be that type of leader that they need. This year didn't really start off too well when it came to leadership qualities, and we've just been working on it. And on the fact of we have so many freshmen starting, we're just trying to make sure that they get in there, know what they're doing, and just try to play the best football we can. And Jared last Friday, I feel like he played really well. There was some mistakes, but I feel like as the weeks go on, he'll get it real well, and I see a bright future for the boy.
Now, do you like out of the pistol formation or the gun formation? What do you like better out of?
Probably more out of the pistol. It's a little easier to get the ball off, get upfield a little bit faster, just movement.
Because you've always been kind of a speedy power runner, I feel. I mean, you've been a tough kid, busting through the holes. You're not real jukey juke guy. You're straight up, run hard, great athlete. Going through the rest of this year, I mean, what's your goals here now, going to your senior year?
Well, this year obviously is not going how I would plan it, and I was hoping to have a little bit better rushing year. But I think going on to my senior year, I just really need to focus up, make sure that I get a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. Look on to the next year, just try to be the best athlete I can be, and just go into the next year look with high hopes, and maybe go out and get some more wins and have a little bit of fun.
Now, Coach, I was talking to Killen earlier about you're the same type of coach. I know you're more vested in what type of men you're making more than football players, and I think everybody in this community appreciates you guys being those type of people. Now, what you guys do is like a coaching staff. You talk about what you do for your players to get them ready for the football season. What does your staff do in the off season to prepare for the upcoming seasons?
Well, we'll start in December. Actually, it should be December 3rd. We'll start with our weightlifting program. And it's open to anyone, really, but, particularly football and guys that are not participating in other winter sports. Sometimes they can get in there. Just depends on their practice schedule and what's going on. But we'll go right after school from about 3 to 4:30. And we'll do that Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now, last year we did take, and Todd was one of them, about 6 to 8 boys to different powerlifting meets in December, January, February, in the state meet.
Pounds as a freshman, but now I'm up my highest. Yeah, it's been 225.
225 is killer too.
Yeah.
What about your squat?
Freshman year I couldn't even squat 160. Now I'm up to a 400.
400.
Yeah.
What about your lunge?
We don't do much. Too
You
much
better
of
get
that,
up in that, boy.
Yeah, trust me,
It's got me 2,400 yards, baby.
That's something I've been honestly talking about getting in a little bit more. I was talking to coaches about that today, actually.
Yeah. Coach, go ahead, Chad.
I was going to say, we've talked about what the players do. What do you guys do as coaches? What do you do? Do you guys do any type of coaching clinics, anything along those lines?
Yeah, we do a lot, actually. I mean, I get all over the country, really. I mean, I go to Las Vegas for a clinic. I've been down to Tampa, Florida, all over the Midwest.
Tampa.
I took three of our kids actually through National Football Academies. Coach Dub Maddox, who I've got to know pretty well, he's out of Oklahoma. He runs what's called R4 Systems, and he did what was really cool was it was a combined clinic and camp, so the coach could bring their kids, quarterbacks, receivers. So I went to Denver last year and took 3 of our players with us, and we got to work out there with kids from across the country. So that was pretty cool doing that. So we get a little bit of everywhere.
Are you upset that you give up on the Bengals? Now they're 4-1, and Green Bay's 2-1-1, baby. What do you think about that?
No,
baby?
I think if anyone's got a right to give up on someone, it's a guy who paid for season tickets for 14 years to probably the worst front office in all of NFL, and that'd be the Cincinnati Bengals. I do. I root for the Bengals. I hope they win.
Yeah.
I'll just never give them my money again.
But we did go to one game together, though. It was the Packers-Bengals game.
Oh, I'll go. When the Packers are in town, I'll pay for that ticket, but I won't pay for the Bengals tickets. They're not worth it.
All right, going back here, Todd, and it is tough. Right now, being 0-7, your junior year, I was in the same spot. I've been there. You know what I mean? I went from 2-8. I went from down in the ditches. But going back, you can make everything better, always. And the thing is, you face a Bethel Tate team that is a lot similar. What's some of the things that you can take from these past and take it and give it to your players and tell them and what you guys need to do?
Well, the main thing is the thing I want to retrieve most from any of the past games is, I want to make sure we don't turn over the ball as much on offense, but defensively, I really want to take that excitement, just aggressiveness that we got from last week's game, the second half, and I just want to carry it through the week of practice and take it into the game. And I feel like if we do that, we'll have a really good week.
Who's the vocal leader more? And, you know, senior class, I'm sure Cameron, I know Cam Yanks, big time, you know, vocal leader.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you put yourself in that? Do you feel as if you could carry on the torch with those younger guys and be someone that's vocal and can do the things?
I feel like next year, you know, I feel like we'll have a little bit more leadership. I mean, we've been working on a lot this year, but
Decent first half, and that was the difference in the one half to the next. Like in the second half, we didn't turn the ball over, and we did punt a few times, but when we punted, Ariano had some amazing punts and backed them clear up.
Really?
They were starting, instead of starting at our 20 and 30, they were starting inside their own 10, and we were just stuffing them. So, you know, it made a huge difference because I felt like our defense was good enough to stop them if we forced them to drive the field. They just didn't on any of their touchdowns, you know. We didn't force them to because our offense put us in such bad positions. But, yeah, the second half, you know, when you don't turn the ball over and your kids are actually getting the ball and tackling, and that's why they didn't score in the second half.
How's your health now? I know you're banged up on the offensive line to start the season, and you got guys coming back now.
Yeah, we've had a really rough year with that. We got Philip Davis, who's a freshman that played an excellent game for us at Cedarville, and then he got hurt with actually broke the top of his fibular bone up in the knee area, but I don't know that he's going to make it back. We thought he might make it back for the last couple games. He's off his crutches now, but, you know, and the one big weakness on our team is like our D-line. We just don't have size up there. We don't match up well.
Yeah.
We're playing undersized guys, and he was a kid that would, you know, probably could have helped us all year long as a freshman. So that would have been a seventh freshman playing.
Yeah.
Mason Huff broke a hand against Williamsburg, but he did play last Friday. He's got a cast on there. You know, we do have some kids back.
What do you have, 18 freshmen?
13 freshmen.
13 freshmen.
Yeah.
I knew it was a bigger class.
Yeah, 13, and 6 of them are playing a lot. And if Philip were healthy, he'd be playing a lot too, so we'd be playing 7 of them. So, I mean, health-wise, we're okay. You know, we'll see. I don't know. You just got to stay healthy because, you know, we just don't have a lot of numbers. You know, we played a JV game Saturday, and we sent 14 kids.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's pretty rough. We're basically just 2 deep. That's all we are. We got, you know, first string, second string. There ain't really anything behind it. So you get a kid hurt, it really messes things up.
Well, we want to thank you, Todd Wedding, Coach Yankee. Thank you for coming on. This is WZA 106.9. It's East Clinton. They play Bethel Tate this week. Game time is at 7. You'll be playing at Bethel Tate.
And then our last 2 are at home.
And the last 2 are at home there. Also, we'd like to thank, real quick, could you give a little shout out to the Brett Whiteman Memorial? I'd like you to say something about it real quick.
Yeah, definitely. It's coming up November 10th, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Saturday, November 10th. And
registration.
I think this is the 8th year for it, I believe. But, of course, you know, you were around with me when we started it. And it's really a great cause. And it's really an awesome event if you're into running and the 5Ks and stuff like that. But it's a wonderful event. They do a great job.